What's good, YouTube? We are back here today with my teammate and team captain, Crow's Nest Yu-Gi-Oh! Say hello to everyone, Snack. How's it going?
Hello, it's Snack.
Snack slash Crow's Nest Yu-Gi-Oh! Whatever. Just go subscribe to her on YouTube. I'll tag her in the title or whatever. But we're gonna be discussing. What are we discussing again? I zoned out for a second when you were talking.
Deck Devastator 6.
Right.
It it's happening this Saturday,
This
uh,
Saturday.
February 17th. It'll
In
be noon Eastern time. And if you go in the edisonformat.com Discord, you can find more info on that in the announcements tab.
Yes. So these tournaments are sort of a big deal, kind of. They're large. They usually get like 150 plus people. So definitely
Yep.
one of the first big ones of the year. Maybe the first big one of the year. Has there been another big
Yeah,
one?
we had Peak of the Beak started, but it hasn't
That doesn't
finished yet.
count.
Yeah, so one thing that I think that's really cool about the Deck Devastator series is the winners that we've had. Like a lot of like really big names have won. You won, Fitz won, Raikoko, Guari. So it's really cool to everybody wants to join that pantheon of Deck Devastators winners. All of them are really influential people on the Edison scene.
Yes, we are all very influential. Okay, well, what we're gonna be getting into our predictions, I guess, for the metagame, because we always do one of these. It's tradition. So you had a whole list of things that you sent me. Let me go look at them. So the first card on there is Black Whirlwind. Why do you think people will play Black Whirlwind in their deck?
I don't even necessarily think that more people will play it than usual, but I think that they'll have success. The ones that do. I think actually at locals on Tuesday, I brought Black Wings to my locals, and I just swept everybody.
I
This card
see.
is just
Impressive.
disgusting. It should be a one or banned in this format, and it's not. And every time you draw it
Banned.
early,
That's a
and
little harsh, isn't it?
no, it's
It
not.
was never banned ever. Like
I don't care. This card should be a one or banned. Every time you draw it going first with like Shura or Sirocco, if you're going second, if you find it early, it's just like a non-game a lot of times unless they have like bottomless exactly or yeah, or I guess like MST Dust Tornado. But
all
anyways,
right.
if this card actually resolves, it's just disgusting. Um, Even just once is crazy, just because the Blackwing cards have so much synergy with one another that like even just being a good Rhoda is fine. It's like a Rhoda that they have to like spend something to out, or else they just get infinite Rhodas. It's crazy.
I see. So you're telling me Black Whirlwind is a good card?
I'm telling you that Black Wings are just super underrated. I think people kind of got bored of them and they like didn't want to believe that they're as good as they are, but they're just insane. I'm sure, like, I completely agree that Vayu and Frogs can like keep up with them, but people like I feel like they forget about Black Wings a lot of times.
Yeah, I don't even sign off on this take, honestly. Like, they're
I know you
super.
don't.
How are they underrated? They're like a quarter of the online meta. How is that underrated? That's like our.
Maybe in terms of representation, they're appropriately rated, but in terms of the way people talk about the format, I feel like people don't give them their due.
I don't know. I feel like they go in the top tier of most tier lists.
That's
Which
true. That's true.
I guess they didn't go in the top tier of mine, but I had like a billion tiers, and I put Dragon Turbo and Vayu Turbo in their own separate tier on top. But
Well, there you
that
have
was that was just me. That's
it.
not underrated. That's just like accurate. That's the truth. People gotta
Way
wake up.
too underrated. They're too good. They just put too much damage on it. They're crazy.
I don't know. I think you just played decks that lose to Blackwing or something. This is my theory. Um, anyway,
I mean,
let's
even when
move.
I'm on Vayu, sometimes I'm like, how am I getting blitzed by Blackwings?
All
What the
right,
heck? This
we
deck is supposed to be
the
fine
next
against
card
Blackwing.
on your list is this card, which is the namesake of the tournament for some reason. Why'd you name the tournament after such a toxic card? Actually, though.
Alliteration.
Well, I guess are there no other alliteration cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh?
I'm sure there are. You know what? It was just a fun name.
What about Frozen
Uh,
Fitzgerald? That's an
True.
alliteration.
Not Edison legal though.
It's not, but it's got Fitz's name in it, so that
That's
count.
true.
All right,
The
whatever.
reason for deck dev is another card that I think should be banned, honestly. But also I saw at Sunny at the RBCT recently, Sunny did really well with a Blackwing deck that was maining 3 deck devastation virus. And I'm not sure that's like the way to go or anything, but
There's no
uh,
way. I refuse to believe that that's
yeah, I mean,
optimal.
like, well, it's kind of like when Dimitri topped that tournament with like 0 Icarus. I think he was just like he's even said himself that he was kind of just like proving a point that like you don't actually need 3 Icarus in Blackwings necessarily.
I don't think you need
And
3 Icarus and Blackwings. I think Corinna's 2 Icarus ratio is based. I think
that's
that's.
actually what I played on Tuesday when I played Blackwings was 2 Icarus.
I see.
But anyways, I think Deck Devastation Virus is just like kind of an insane card. It destroys everything that isn't like Hero Beat and Blackwings, and even Vayu gets hurt by it if you hit like Armageddon Knight and like Raikou Hamster stuff.
I
Um,
personally, I think siding this card versus value is cap. I would not do that, but some
look,
people do.
I'm just saying, having it in the main, like it's kind of like having oppression in the main. Sometimes like you're gonna run into matchups where oppression isn't great, but
Maybe you
there
should
aren't.
main like one.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I could see people main decking deck dev
I don't know if they'll
in like
actually
black
do that, but maybe they should.
and like even in the matchups where it's going to have the biggest effect, it's very rarely going to be like totally useless. Um,
Okay.
I say that even though I hate this card and I think it's toxic and I wish it didn't exist.
We arrive here at another card I disagree with, which is Shire.
Another card you disagree
Yeah,
with.
I think this deck is ass. Honest, like I'm just not a. I don't. I'm not feeling the solar recharge decks whatsoever. But that's because I'm unlucky and I never draw good when I play them. So I just like play Christia Sworn and I just hate myself the entire time. But
to
what do you got to
me,
say about Shire?
to me, Christian Swarm just feels like a deck that it has such insane potential to me, and it feels like people are trying to make other decks work. Like, they're trying to make like Machina work, or they're trying to make other decks work, and it's like Christian Sworn is right there. Like, just focus on this one. You can make this deck that's already like really scary and can beat any deck. Just like make it a little bit more
You know,
consistent.
this deck is really bad against these other things you have up here, though.
You know what?
How can you have both?
You know, JD beats everything. Okay.
All right, what? Sure, cope. Explain yourself. Never mind. Don't explain yourself. You just.
I mean, I don't know. I
We
just
can
think
just.
JD plus Christia is just kind of game over unless they have brain control. So
Okay.
there you go.
Moving on. We've got compulsory evacuation.
Underrated deck.
This is not a deck. This is. Why am I saving this? Whatever. This is not a deck. This is a card
Yes.
that is played at like 1.
I think Compost is one of the coolest innovations that have happened in Edison format lately, where in the past year, probably.
Wait, what monster is on the card art of Compulse? Is that Blackluster Soldier?
It's Gaga Gigo.
That's Gaga Gigo?
I'm pretty sure it's
Bullshit,
Gaga Gigo.
that's not Gaga Gigo.
I think it is. You can look it up on the Wikipedia trivia page.
All right, I'll have to investigate this later. But yeah, I agree with this one actually.
I think it's really interesting seeing how many people are putting Compost in the main, and they're like, and we might talk about it later, but like people are cutting Book where they used to play Book to like play around brain control and stuff. You can often use Compost in the same situations, but Compost is also way more versatile in terms of being used aggressively and stuff. You can use it like in the battle phase to like play around Deep Prison and Mirror Force. There's all kinds of crazy stuff you can do with Compost, and it's really interesting to see people using this card in the main deck and in the side deck, considering I can't think of like any historic formats where this was actually main decked. So it's just really interesting to see people in 2024 playing Compost in Edison format when it wasn't like a card that was played very much contemporarily.
Okay, well, yeah, I agree with this one. I play this card in like every deck at 1 or
It's
something.
so nice. Just to have generic removal, it's so good.
And I think I kind of agree with the deck dev one too. Anytime I play a deck that can side this, it always feels really good. Which is more often than you think, given that I never played Blackwing decks. But yeah.
Do you have any cards that you would put in this?
In this,
watch out tier.
I'm gonna say I think we have reached peak Amaryllis. I see
Peak
this
Amaryllis.
I see this deck like every other match on ladder. There's just so many people playing it right now. I don't know why, but I think it will be played a substantial amount at Deck Devastators. I just feel like it's the time. I'm not sure why, but everyone seems to be playing it. Every replay I get sent has this deck in it on one or both sides for some reason. So maybe all my viewers are just obsessed with Amaryllis, but I pop into rated matches too, and I just see it all the time too. And Fen played it at peak, and then
Oh,
well,
nice.
I think she did. I don't remember. I didn't watch her
I
matches.
really want this to be true. I want Amaryllis to like be a legit deck just because Titanial is one of my favorite cards in the format, and any deck that can spam Titanial seems amazing to me. I love that. It's also cool that this deck can play like on a different axis than other decks where you can just kind of ignore card advantage sometimes with this deck and just say, well, I have Mark the Rose and you're dead, or like I'm gonna burn you, or I'm playing out of my grave, so I don't care if I have like 2 cards. It's very interesting that this deck like forces people to play in a different way, and I think that variety is really cool to have in the format.
Okay. Did I have another opinion? No, I don't remember.
All out of opinions.
Am I out of takes yet? What other decks are in this format? Wait, I mentioned earlier that Dragon Turbo and Vayu Turbo I put in like a tier above Blackwings.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to put this out there. I think Dragon Turbo will win first place. I think
Interesting.
I don't know if Ghost Rider's entering the event, but if he does, I got my money on him because I think this deck is crazy. Oh, you know what? Sonny's been playing this deck too, right? I think.
Really?
Yeah, he had like we had a whole discussion about Dragon Turbo the other day because Sonny was like, Sonny was wanted to know what he should cut Giant Trunade from his side deck for, or if he should cut Giant Trunade from his side deck, and then we all told him to play Eradicator, Epidemic Virus, or something stupid. But so that was not very productive. But still, I think we got some good players who might potentially enter with Dragon Turbo and could go the whole way because I think that deck is pretty crazy. I think it's
Yeah.
one of the best, if not the best. So watch out for that one. Is what I'm thinking.
It would be the first. So far with Deck Devastators, we had Blackwings win, and then Frogs, Blackwing, Hero Frog, Fairies,
Hooray for
Flip
me!
Dragons,
Hooray for
and then
Fitz!
Blackwings again.
Wow, the only based people to top deck to win deck dev were just me and Fitz, huh? Other than that, it was Blackwing and Hero Frog. Is that what I'm getting? Is that what I'm
Yes.
hearing? In fact,
Yes.
from you. Okay.
That is what you're hearing.
Well, we could do with another based. Yeah, someone needs to win with Amaryllis. That would
that would be
that'd
really
quite,
cool.
I would be very much a fan of that because I enjoy that deck, and also it's my baby, so gotta love to see it succeed. Okay, well, let's move on to the things that you think are bad. Starting with the one that I agree probably. Actually, I agree with a lot of these, but let's start with one that I agree. Wait, where's this? Where's the stupid? Okay, there we go. Alias. This deck is mid as hell. I don't know.
Strong agree. Every time I play against this deck, they're just like bricking on anything. Like this deck, I will say, when you play this deck and you open like Stratos, Gemini Spark, Hero Blast, Miracle, Solemn, or something like that, then yeah, you're fine. You got it.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you open exactly one of every single card, you're fine. And Diva, let's throw Diva in there too because you need a water. But if you open multiples of anything in this deck, it just bricks to hell. Like it is so awful to be like sitting with your hand of like 2 E-Call,
See,
Rhoda, and like Gilman, and
your
you're like,
problem
well, my
is
deck does nothing.
you're playing the Diva version when you gotta embrace the Crystal Seer version.
Even that one is like, I don't know, because then you're
There's-
playing a bunch of monsters that don't actually do anything.
They do something. They let you look at the top 2 of your deck and then put one on the
The
bottom.
nice thing about Diva is at least it's pressure most of the time, which is like kind of the idea of the deck is like I'm gonna summon big guys and like that kind of like gives me enough time to find the miracles and stuff. But
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like from the beginning. I
This-
always hated the Diva thing. I don't think it's worse than the last build, but I think it's better than the Crystal Seer build actually. But I still just hate it as a matter of principle.
this deck is totally fine, but it's just not people put it up on the same tier as like Blackwing and Vayu, and it's just not.
I feel like it's only scary when they draw like all three miracles or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah,
And they just
I
go like
mean, if they
miracle,
have like
miracle.
if they have the perfect like combination of cards, this deck is like unbeatable. But that's true of any deck.
True. If you open all 5 pieces of Exodia, Exodia is tier 0.
True.
It's a fact. All right, the next one that I agree with a lot. Where is he? Where is he? You know, I could just put Mega Rock Drag, but no, we're gonna put Gaia Plate. This deck sucks so bad. I'm so sad. I loved it so much. I love it so
love
much.
the idea of this deck. I love it so much. I actually think Rockstun is really cool. I think Dark Gaia is cool. I just think having more fusion monsters is neat, but it just doesn't have the well-roundedness of all the actually elite decks.
My opinion on this deck is I tried to play it a lot, and it was bad, and it lost, and I got frustrated and I deleted it. So that's yeah, it's so unfortunate because the rocks are so cool. I love Gaia Plate, and I love Gigantes, and I love Dark Calling, and I don't love Fossil Dyna, but you know, it's in there.
I think Dyna is really cool to have. Any deck that can main deck Dyna, that's really cool. I mean, at least as the one that is playing Dyna,
See,
it feels
I don't
cool.
like main decking Dyna because it feels really variancy to me. But
I'd love to be proven wrong. I would love for someone to win deck Devastators with this deck, but I do not see it happening.
Yeah, I doubt it too. Wait, there's something missing from your bad tier that I have to add.
Is there? All right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh
no,
my god. This deck is just it's so much worse than even people think it is. It's like, I don't know. I guess it steals games sometimes, but like never when I play it. You know, when I play it, I draw all the Jinzos and the returners.
Yeah. I think the game plan with this one is to just steal games. Like, I feel like if you can play the game, like, even if you want to like play something cheesy, you could play like Dragon Turbo or Lightsworn or something. I don't see the appeal of this really, but
the appeal is that you get to bust out your secret rare first edition PSV Jinzos. That's
true. Yeah. I mean, if you really loved watching Battle City where Joey won the Jinzo from the guy, and you're just like, I just need an excuse to play this card because it's my favorite, that's awesome. And go for it.
Dragon Turbo gets to summon Blue Eyes though, so I feel like that's a little,
and kind of Red Eyes.
That's more iconic. You could play like 3 different Blue Eyes. You could play like LOB, SDK, and DDS Blue Eyes in your deck.
Yeah. See, like Dragon Turbo is like that. It's like that meme of like the epic handshake thing, but it's Joey and Kaiba doing the handshake because you got Red Eyes and Blue Eyes together.
Oh, Red Eyes is in there. That card never got summoned in the anime, though. Like, yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. The point is the Jinzo deck is garbage. Like, I'm not feeling it whatsoever. It's weird because, like, I've played it a lot for videos, and I, like, went undefeated with it in all my videos, but it's just, like... I played it with Keegan in an episode of Meta Breakers, and we legit just went 5-0 with Jinzo against a bunch of stuff. It was so stupid.
That's really funny.
But yeah, it's a lot worse than it looks. It's like if you draw the Jinzo stuff, it's just like garbage. I don't know. What was next on here? Well, we got Machina. So you're a Machina hater, I see.
Machina are probably my second favorite deck in this whole format.
So you're a Machina hater, is what you're telling me.
But they're just not it. Like I enjoy playing with the deck when I'm not trying to like really win, but I just maybe the best version is Machina Frogs.
No. The best version is Monster Mash.
I don't like the Machina Frogs. Yeah, I just like this engine just isn't quite there. It just doesn't have it, which is sad. I wish it were.
You know what? I believe in Ryanide's build, actually. I think it's the best frog build.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think the Ryanide's Machina Frogs is really cool, and it's like probably my favorite frog deck conceptually, but it's either that or the Rodnock one that has the field spells.
But I don't believe in Sphere. I don't believe in Sphere.
Yeah. But anyways, the Machina with the hamster Ryko stuff, it's fine, but it's not there.
Yeah, I'm
Does
not
not
sure
get
about
there.
that deck, to be honest. I always
It's
had like
like I said, I
reservations.
actually think it's very similar to Hero Beat, where it's like, yeah, sure, you can play this deck, but there's just like something better you could be doing.
Yeah, but it's cooler than Hero Beats. We got to give him some credit.
It is cooler. It's much cooler than Hero Beat.
Okay. Well, next up we have the Book of Moon. And it's kind of obvious why you put this here, because compulsory just like took its place. So
Yeah,
we put
I
compulsory.
completely agree with that. There is
Um,
some decks where I think Book of Moon has merit, and I think Vayu is actually one of them. I could see playing Book of Moon because you can book your armed wings when they come out to avoid bottomless, or book them into Deep Prison, and that's obviously you don't want to compulse your own armed wings.
are you
Uh,
sure?
yes. Um, so like there's some like kind of niche times where I think Book of Moon is better, but compulse being more better as like a aggressive tool, I think matters a lot because this format, a lot of times you just need to find a small window where you can find lethal, and compulse is much better at doing that.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I actually play a deck with Book of Moon. I'm actually bringing a deck with Book of Moon to YCS Vegas, so everyone look out for that.
Yeah.
But it also has Compulse in it, so it's like one and
Yeah,
one.
I find that a lot where I often end up playing one and one if
One
I'm
and
going to
one's a
play
good
Book of Moon at
ratio.
all. I very rarely will play Book of Moon without Compulse, I think, but I often play Compulse without Book of Moon.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way of putting it. Let's see. What else do we have here? Is that the last thing? No, there's more. There's so much more. Actually, there's not much
Another
more.
another thing that Fitz actually talked about this in a recent deck profile he did of his zombie deck. He talked about playing one Compulse and one D Prison in his main deck, and it just like
I hate
as a way to like
1D prison so much. Fitz needs to stop that.
I like the idea of like adding variety, just making your opponent play around more like a wider spread of cards, and you aren't going to have as much redundancy like two D prison in your back row. Like if you draw them both, you draw D prison and compulse. They actually
See,
do different things and
the
handle different situations.
the only way I'm playing Deep Prison is I'm just like I'm going full trap cards. So I
Well,
just play like
if you
three.
just need a bunch of trap cards and you don't have like access to like Icarus attack because you're not playing Black Wings or something, that's another reason why compulse is nice because it just adds more to your back row,
Hmm.
more
Yeah,
viable
Compulse is
back
good
row.
for sure. The last thing that you had was Royal Oppression.
Yeah.
Why is this card down here?
I mean, this is more of like just a description of where the meta's been, where like value players are maining one oppression and siding the other. Blackwing players are not maining any oppression. Hero beat players aren't playing oppression. Like this card is just fallen way out of favor, and I think it's really nice for the format. I feel like it makes the format more fun when you aren't running into oppression all the time, but also I feel like at the high levels, oppression is just like way easier to play around than you might expect, I guess. And I think it's really healthy that oppression is not like this dominant card that some people might expect it to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been like that for a while. Some decks like main one, and that's like okay,
Yeah,
but it's not
it's
like
just like you're
great.
gonna run into so much value, value especially. I think oppression is like better against Blackwings than it is. Well, obviously it's better against Blackwings than it is against value, but like oppression isn't terrible against Hero Beat or Blackwings, but it's just there's so many better cards that you could have in that spot, and that's what we've seen is people cutting it for those cards that are better against the decks you actually expect to see.
Yeah, just make sure you keep it in your side so the Gladiator Beast never comes back.
I think it's a great side card, honestly. It's just
Yeah,
not really.
it's obviously a great
It's
side card.
mhm.
Okay. I have a card to add, which I have talked about several times on the channel now, which is this one. This card is just bad. This might be controversial. This might be controversial, but I increasingly think that you shouldn't even play this. I think that like Blackwings and Hero Beat can just take it out and just play like you can play a lot of traps without Starlight Road. The only time you really like have to play Starlight Road is when you're playing some like weird cope deck that has like some kind of floodgate or whatever that just has to be protected, like Crystal Beast or Dimensional Fissure or Solidarity. I feel like that's the only time you actually need to main deck Starlight Road. And then all these other decks, you play it, and it's like sometimes it's great, but then often you draw it, and it's just like a dead back row that loses you the game because it's not a live back row that actually does something by itself. And I just don't think it's worth it. I feel like the card is pretty mid. As a side deck card, I kind of like it though, because it's good against like, I don't know, Lightsworn or something. It's good against something. There's a reason I side it, I swear.
See,
Dragon Turbo too. It's a very good.
It's funny that you say that, because actually I could see it against Dragon Turbo maybe, but I used to side this card, and I had these matches where I would side it into Blackwings for Icarus attack, or side it into
No, you just shouldn't
Lightsworn.
side it versus Blackwings.
Or I would side it into Lightsworn for like JD and Celestia and stuff, right?
Versus Lightsworn
And-
is very good, I think, though.
And I just kept getting, like, against Lightsworn, they would flip Royal Decree on me, or against Blackwing, I would just get beat down by monsters because they just had monsters in Black Whirlwind,
A
and I had no
notable
defense.
point I want to make is I think My Body as a Shield is better than Starlight
That's
Road.
exactly where I was going with this.
Okay.
Is I would put my bodies in the top spot, in the top section,
Yeah.
next to Compulse.
I started
my
like
body,
taking
I
this
swapped-
out and putting this
Yeah.
in, because this stops deck dev too.
exactly. This card is so good, and it stops Bottomless, it stops Mirror Force, Torrential. This lets you play into those back row like you might with a set Starlight Road, but you can do it with it in your hand, which like catches them even more off guard. This is a really cool card. It even just works against them flipping Raikou and targeting your monster, which is almost always like it's often the better play than targeting your back row anyway. But the My Body will punish them for making the quote unquote correct play. I think My Body is a really cool card that should see more play.
Yeah, I've started taking this out of my side and putting in My Body, because I think My Body
Yeah.
is just better.
And it works under Decree if you're going up against Lightsworn.
Yeah, there's just like so many reasons. It's just like more live in general, and I guess like the payoff for Road is better, but I don't,
Yeah, the payoff for Road is obviously way better. You don't have to pay life points. There's all that, but
But My Body is
the
just-
versatility is really nice.
Yeah.
on My Body.
I'd rather just have the card be live a lot, you know? I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I think people have started taking this out of Blackwing, actually. I've seen a lot of Blackwing builds with no road.
Well, I think playing the Yada
Yada kinda-
makes people fear. It makes people fear heavy storming for
Yeah.
like 1 or 2 anyway. So the road isn't as necessary in those builds.
It's weird. Why do Hero Beat players still play it and not try the Yada, though? Because, like, they don't even have Black Whirlwind. What are they trying to protect future feeding?
Yeah, I have no idea. You'd have to ask a Hero View player.
Oh, I'm not doing that. I don't want to. I don't dare venture into the Hero Beat channel.
I don't associate with those people.
Okay. Well, no, yeah. That's okay. I think that's the last thing I had to add. Do you have any last minute additions to the list, or is this just it? Is this all the things?
How do you feel about Breaker the Magical Warrior? Because I know that card has been picking up steam in side decks lately.
This card sucks. I hate this card, and I hate Lila, and I hate them for the same reason. So that's
part of the reason I hate Lila is it just like puts itself in defense and gets run over by Shura, and it's like, this is terrible.
well. This card also gets run over by Shura. So what do you want?
Yeah, I mean, at least you can choose not to use the
At least
token
Lila
pop
mills
thing.
things.
You can let Breaker be Gemini Elf for a little bit.
Yeah, it
and
can
not
be
get
an
run over.
alias. Yeah, I mean, no, I just don't like it. I feel like there's better. Like, why not just play freaking Dust Tornado or Decree or whatever? There's just better cards. It's like the people who side Twister. What are you doing? Okay, it's not as bad as Twister, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Breaker the Magical Warrior.
For me, the jury is out on Breaker, but
Maybe it just feels like some goat card to me.
it's very much a good card. It is insane in Goat, and it's funny
I mean,
that you
obviously
can
it's
play 3 in
crazy in
Edison
Goat.
and nobody plays 3.
It's just Edison is just different, all right.
Of course, yeah.
Breaker is much less powerful. What do people side this in, like, fairy? Dare I speak the word fairies?
Yeah.
What else?
Said it in fairies, frogs, even.
Frogs. That's gotta
I think
be suspect.
Fitz
right?
was citing this in zombies too.
Fitz. Once again, Fitz. Twice now. What do you?
Hey,
One
Deck
one D
Devastator's
prison,
champion Fitz.
1D prison, breaker in zombies. What is that guy smoking?
I think 10-foot got him.
Oh, you know what? It must have been the
He
influence
corrupted him
of
when
that man.
Voldemort made him one of the Death Eaters.
That man corrupted him. All right. Well, I think that's all our takes for today. So, if you're interested in playing in Deck Devastators, like Snack said in the beginning, go sign up in the Edison
You can sign up
format.
right now.
Also, if you can't figure out how to sign up, be sure to DM her and ask her how. I did this earlier.
Also, donations. If you want to donate to the prize pool, feel free to do that too.
Yeah, give her money for the prize pool. And yeah, that's gonna wrap up the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Post all of your cringe comments about why we're wrong about
Why we're so
Jinzo.
right. Why everything we said is correct and everything Karpov said was wrong.
Why Jinzo is going to win first place at Deck Devastators. Okay, buddy. Good luck with that. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Furthermore, if you enjoy my content, you should think about becoming a channel member. You get access to tons of bonus content, and it's a great way to help support the channel.